Know as an empath that your abilities spread a lot further than just being able to read a room, because a lot of people understand that they're an empath. A lot of people will think that they're cursed. A lot of people will think that it's really difficult, and they say, I see so many people saying, I wish I wasn't. And I just feel like the reason they're saying that is because they're not aware of really actually what their true capabilities are. A lot of people will say to me, yeah, I am, I know, but when we really get into it, they actually don't. They just think it's the surface layer that people see an empath as, and it's not. It's a lot deeper than that. When we're born as an empath, we have already decided that we come into Earth in order to be able to connect as one with others. Now, this is what humans do. This is what humans are supposed to do. It's oneness. Everybody's supposed to connect. Now, empaths still have the ability to do that. They haven't shut it down. So to hear an empath say they wish it could be shut down, they wish they didn't have it, whilst I absolutely understand how that feels because I have been there, it's also, we need to investigate this further before we make these statements. We need to investigate our abilities and what it is that we can truly do for our own lives before we make these statements. So let's just get into it a little bit here, guys. So for anyone that doesn't fully know about an empath is somebody who absorbs the energy of other people. Now, empaths spend a lot of their time outside of their body. And what this means is they are permanently, constantly going into other people's experiences who are around them. Now, I've been teaching empaths now for 15 years, and I didn't know I was an empath. Didn't have a clue I was an empath until, 16, 17 years ago. But when I found out what I was, everything made sense. My whole childhood, all my situations going through my early 20s and my teens, everything made absolute sense. Because instead of it just all being, woo, well, what's going on? Everything's all very kind of like, everything was very fractured. I was constantly running away. I constantly felt overwhelmed and overloaded, and I just ran from life situations. Therefore, I made my life very confusing, really. All I ever did really was just kind of move from one situation to another, and I felt like I never had the staying power for things. But it wasn't necessarily that. It was because I was becoming so overwhelmed as an empath with the emotions of everybody else as well, that my sensory overload was just huge. So in the years of learning afterwards, I could put everything together and I could truly understand all the things that was going on for me. And I've helped, I don't even know how many. I've helped many students, hundreds of students over the years, learn to understand their own empath ability and what is going on for them. Because even though we're all empaths, we're still all different. We all have different problems. We all have different kind of ways of facing certain situations. But if you are an empath and you are overloaded and you are overwhelmed and you feel like there is no way forward for you, help is here. There is. There absolutely is. I am a full-time psychic, medium, clairvoyant, energy healer, past life regression therapist, you name it, right? Anything to work inside someone's energy, and I'm there, I'm doing it. Now, this is an overload of energy on me every day as an empath and a channel. But I'm high functioning, and I'm that because I've taught myself over the years and I've learned over the years where we are going wrong. So this is something which I would like to share with you. The number one thing about an empath, and I'm going to sound boring at first for those of you that know, because you're going to be like, well, I already know this. But the number one thing that you need to know as an empath is that protection is not necessarily your answer. You need to protect, you need your psychic protection up. However, that isn't the thing that is going to stop you from absorbing. And you'll see so many people say, well, just protect. It's not enough, guys. It's not enough, because an empath is willingly choosing to come out of their own experience and go into someone else's experience. Therefore, this is how we get to feel it, hear it, see it, whatever way we're doing it. So by protecting, that's not enough. That stops us being drained by people, but it doesn't stop us coming out of our own experience and going into theirs. So that isn't enough. The biggest, most important thing you need to understand as an empath is that you need to have the highest vibration. High velocity is what my guides call it. I've been through the trauma, I've been through the upset, I've cried, I've begged, I've wanted to know why my life is always like this and why it's never ever going to end. I've been in that moment and I understand that moment. However, I've carried on trying and carried on learning, and with the help of my guides, they've taught me the skills in order to be able to function as an empath. Not even just function, but go out there, go into other people's experiences, help them with what they need, and leave it there with them and come away and be me. So high velocity is one of the biggest things. So that means your energy needs to be moving at a fast rate, because what happens is when your energy doesn't move at a fast rate and it starts to get more and more sluggish, your auric field slows down. And when your auric field slows down, that's when things of a more lower vibration can stick to your auric field, if you can imagine Velcro. So it can stick to your auric field, and then that's when you're carrying it, you're taking it with you. If your auric field stays spinning at a fast rate, then what happens is nothing of a lower vibration. Imagine like a dark, oh, what can we call it? A slug, right? Because I don't like slugs. Imagine that you're spinning and it's spinning around really fast and the slugs are trying to stick to it, but they can't, they keep sliding off. Yeah, that basically is how your auric field needs to be. And when your auric field's like that, as an empath, you don't hold on to everything. You feel it, you identify it, you acknowledge it's there, and you can hand it to the other person and say, look, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I'm seeing, this is yours, this is not mine. And you can leave it there and you're still spinning and you're walking away. And that is what an empath needs to learn to be able to do. I've tried every single way going, learned lots of different techniques from lots of people, but they've never fully done it. Now, let's not forget, I am willingly every day saying, I will take your energy because it's my job. So I am purposely doing this, which means that obviously maybe I'm going to kind of get things a bit bigger than some other empaths. So you may find that other things work as well. But the biggest thing, if you want to be high functioning and you want to be able to go out into the world and spend time with people and, you know, and care and give a caring side to you, because the second an empath asks somebody if they're okay, what the empath has basically said is, okay, I care here, I want to know, so I'm coming in there with you, no matter what. So you still need to make sure that your vibration stays really, really high. And this is why, guys, that so many empaths become overwhelmed, because their vibration is becoming lower and lower and lower and lower. So they're starting to look at things from a negative viewpoint because they're carrying all the energy of all these different people. So when your vibration stays high, your energy stays high, and your mindset is exactly as it should be. So that there is how empaths look after themselves. There's lots of other little bits and bobs as well along the way, but that there is how empaths look after themselves. Energy healing is also a massive one. If you're not an energy healer yourself, it's a really good idea to go to a reputable, good professional energy healer, because another thing, if you're an empath, if you allow somebody else to work within your own energy, you have just given permission for their energy to become your energy. So you want a good, reputable, professional energy healer. Okay, so that's that. So that's about keeping your energy high. Now, what is it that you're capable of doing? Wow, just wow, guys. Let me just say, for every single one of you that's watching this who's an empath, right, you are truly amazing. You are amazing. You're here, you're not scared. It doesn't matter what your brain thinks you are. When you've come here, your soul is here like a bloody warrior, ready to face whatever it has to face, because you want to give love. That's who you are. Now, it doesn't matter if your brain and your circumstances along the way have gone, oh my God, I don't want it, it scares me, I don't like it, it makes me feel ill, it does this, it doesn't matter. That's your brain, that's the body, that's the humanness. But as a soul, on a soul level, that's what you decided to do, which makes you amazing. Now, never forget that. Never get lost with that, because that is who you are. You are an amazing person. So, you know the usuals, I'm going to presume, unless you have no idea. So, you know, you can walk into a room, you can feel energy, you can spend some time with someone, you go home feeling drained. Just the usuals, which everyone will say is what an empath, yeah, that's it, that's what you are if you're an empath. That's the negatives if you don't look after your energy field, like we've just spoke about. What's the positives of being an empath? You know everything that everybody is thinking if you allow yourself to train yourself enough to do that. Now, what that does is it puts you in a place where you're not vulnerable, because it allows you to truly understand at a deeper level of what's going on for that other person. You can channel energy like no one's business. We all notice how we can get drained and how, you know, we can go out and, oh my God, it's just too much for me. I'm overwhelmed. There's too much going on. Sensory. Everybody notices that. All the empaths notice that. And if you ask them about being an empath, that's one of the first things they'll say. But how many empaths notice how you can channel positive energy, how you can channel high vibrational energy? Did you know you can channel the universe through your body? Did you know that all this manifesting that people do, and they're all desperately trying to do it, did you know that you actually don't even need to try to do it, because you are already there? You are already there. But what you're doing is, at the moment, you're channeling what you think is going on for you, not the truth. So your ability to manifest and connect the universe right through you is second to none. You have that ability. You have the ability to feel people's pain. You have the ability to know what is going on for someone's health. Now, obviously, I'm saying with training. I'm not saying that this is like you've got it now, sit there and go, right, okay, oh, what the feeling. You have the ability to do it. You need to learn how to open that ability and how to understand that ability. A lot of empaths are also tarred with the hypochondriac brush. And that is purely because, without even realising it, an empath will feel people's stuff. They'll pick up on their pain, they'll pick up on their mental health, they'll pick up on all of this sort of stuff. And then it will go, and then something else will come. And a lot of people will get diagnosed with fibromyalgia and all that sort of stuff. And it is, you are being absolutely drained, lifeless from other people's stuff. You are feeling other people's health, not just other people's emotion. Now, I see lots of people saying, oh, there's different empaths, you're Hyoka empath, and all these different empaths, right? And if you do that, you can feel that. And if you do that, you can feel that. And I understand that. I understand there's different levels of emotion, different levels of empath, sorry. But I also believe that if an empath is kind of on one train, if they want to train themselves to be able to feel all of it or do all of it, they can. Because an empath is channeling everything around them. So therefore, if they want to fully channel something else, they can. You can choose what it is that you wish to channel. You can choose what it is that you wish to be. So you have a lot of skills here. So if you if you're the sort of person that's constantly getting pains and aches and all this sort of stuff, and they just randomly go and the doctors can't find them, here's your answer, guys. Learning to understand it, learning to really get on board with it and keep it on the outside and know and have the knowledge, that's another story. That's something you've got to do. Otherwise, it will eat you up because you won't quite know. And even myself now, when I read every day of my life, and I have done for 20 years, sometimes I'll question, I feel something in my body and I'll question, is that me? And you don't only get it when you're sitting with them. You can get it before they arrive. You can get it after they've left. So there's a lot to know and there's a lot to learn if you want to become a high-functioning empath. However, you are not cursed. You are not somebody that has to keep running from their abilities. You are not somebody that has to only see the dark. If you look at the light and you understand that there is so much light in what you have got in your ability, you can fly. You can be whatever you want to be. You can go wherever you want to go. Just remember that you have the ability to channel everything. So stop thinking that all your channeling is being drained and an overwhelm of emotion. Yes, you feel emotion and you live in the emotional layer. Empaths live too much in the emotional layer. And when they're around people, without realising it, they are reading the emotional layer. That's the first thing we read. We're reading the emotional layer. So you're reading the other person's worries and fears and upsets and all that sort of stuff. And you're taking it and it's becoming yours. And this is why you're going home feeling drained, feeling upset, feeling depressed, because you're reading their stuff without knowing you're reading it. Once you learn to understand you're reading it, you go through the layers. You go into different layers and you start going deeper, and that's when you start being able to keep things more on the outside. Okay, so that is everything about what an empath can do. I mean, there's so much more. There's so much more, because if we went into every tiny little detailed thing, there would be a different answer for each question. But the general is basically you can channel whatever it is you want to channel. So if you really sit down and look at that, you'll realise that you're allowing the overload to kind of take you, and you're not allowing yourself to come past that point of the overload. You're staying there. There's the overload all around you, and you're not rising up out of it because you are sticking yourself there and you're thinking, that's it, that's my limit, that's where we are, that's why would I be born this way? But that is not your limit. That is the starting point. That's where you learn what you are. And once you've learned what you are, you come up and up and up and you rise and rise and rise. But when you are staying in that starting point, then you are only going to find the difficult parts of it. So it's really important. I speak about all of this in my book, Empath Rising, which I wrote because my journey was tough. It was hard. I had no teacher. I had nobody to help me. And I didn't know where to go with the empath side of things. So with my guides and myself and all my experiences, I learned. And I don't want you to go through all of that. I want to be able to help you to understand yourself and help you to be able to rise and be the best version of yourself that you were supposed to be, because you are bloody amazing. I will link my book, my website in the bio so that you can find my book if you're interested in it. The book will teach you all about your conditioning and your patterns of how you've conditioned yourself to stay still, stay stuck, and it will also teach you lots of empath exercises in order for you to rise, in order for you to understand yourself, and in order for you to start training yourself on how you start to read other people and how you start to understand what's yours and what's theirs. You will always be a mirror for the rest of your life. You cannot turn this off. The only way, people say to me, I'm just turning it off. No. Do you know what people do when they say they're turning it off? They are overloading themselves with such lower vibrational energy that they don't feel anymore. Now, that is not turning it off. That is just literally destroying everything that you came to Earth to be. And that is not your answer. So the book, Empath Rising, will teach you how you can rise and how you can learn to know that's theirs, that's not mine. And how you can learn to keep it on the outside, because that's the key, empaths. Okay, I'll link it. Have an amazing day. Be an amazing empath. And remember, you are full of love. You are here to love. It is because of you and people like you that there is love in the world. Never forget that.